The NOPE Saga. Chapter 1. The Great Lockdown. The screen flickered in Ray's dim office, another broadcast from the Gatekeepers. Their voices dripped with authority, polished as if every syllable had been pre-cleared by machines. For the safety of markets and stability of value, all unauthorized liquidity pools will be frozen effective immediately. Ray leaned back in his chair. He had heard these tones before. Men in suits, voices dressed up as law, the same script recycled with new branding. To the uninitiated, it sounded inevitable. Just another form of the jab. To Ray, it was a death sentence for everyone who lived outside the gates. The chat feeds told the rest of the story. Despair, curses, gallows humor. A blur of rocket emojis followed by skulls. The young ones and noobs joked because jokes were cheaper than grief. Ray rubbed his face, staring at his reflection in the darkened window. He had sworn never to lead again. Too many scars, too many burned bridges. He had chosen exile over compromise, walked away before the last collapse took everything. And yet, he could feel it in his bones, the old pulse that wouldn't let him rest. The lockdown wasn't just another decree, it was the tightening of a noose. His comm unit buzzed, messages stacked on the side of the feed. Obi, guess we're rugged again, LOL. Bright Eyes, we don't die, we multiply. Cypher, this can be countered, but not with chaos. Maverick, please, I've got 3 bots that'll eat this lock for breakfast. Ray exhaled slowly. They were waiting for him, whether they admitted it or not. The misfits, the clowns, the tacticians, the hype men, all looking to the only one stubborn enough to keep showing up. He straightened in his chair. His voice, when he sent it into the channel, was calm, steady, older than the storm outside. If you want to live free, we stand together. No permissions. Ever. Nope. The words dropped into the feed like a stone into water. And just like that, the rebellion stirred. Chapter 2. Gathering the Misfits. The meeting wasn't official. Nothing about NOPE ever would be. It was a thread pulled through back channels and half-broken messages. A call passed like a rumor until enough of them answered. Ray opened the voice chat. Faces, avatars, glitching icons snapped into place one after another. Obi was first, leaning into the cam with a grin that looked carved from cynicism. "Here we are," he said. "Another heroic last stand. Should I start writing my PulseChain obituary now or later?" Bright Eyes burst into the feed with the subtlety of a flare gun. Emojis rained down behind his avatar. His voice was breathless, already burning hot. "Forget obituaries, we're just getting started. This is our moment, fam." Cypher's voice cut across the noise like a scalpel. Calm, precise, demanding order. We don't need cheerleaders, we need structure. If we don't calculate, if we don't prepare, this movement dies before it begins. Maverick laughed so hard it clipped his mic. He leaned back in his chair, cocky as if the lockdown was a personal challenge. "Structure? Please, the gatekeepers aren't ready for me. I've got bots no one's even dreamed of. You want survival? Let me off the leash." Maple's voice came softer, but it carried in a way the others didn't. Gentle, steady, the kind of tone that could put broken glass back together. Enough chest thumping. "If we're here, it's because we trust Ray. That's the point. Don't forget it." Bundy's square flickered alive, and suddenly the chat filled with a distorted meme. A rabbit-headed king photoshopped onto the gatekeeper's crest, crowned with clown horns. "Behold," Bundy muttered, "the empire of frauds." Then he muted himself, cackling in silence. Plantain joined last, his background already broadcasting live to whoever stumbled into his stream. "Welcome to history, folks," he said, spinning the camera for dramatic effect. "Elder Ray's first War Council of NOPE." Like, comment, subscribe. Monkey didn't speak, didn't need to. He just typed furiously, logs scrolling down the side of the chat. Every word, every joke, every tension, he was recording it all. Ray let them run, let the chaos breathe. He knew better than to silence it. And then, when the noise hit its peak, he spoke. Calm, slow, measured. "This isn't a game," he said. "The lockdown is real. They're betting you'll scatter, that you'll burn yourselves out before you even begin. That's how they win. But if you want freedom... He leaned forward, his eyes steady. Then remember these words. No permissions. Ever. Nope. Silence followed. Even Obi had no joke ready. And just like that, the council was born. Chapter 3. Fractures in the Forge. The council's feed glowed with too many voices at once, the sound of rebellion already starting to fray. Cypher's voice cut through first, low and sharp. We need discipline. A framework. Without it, this is just noise. If every move isn't calculated, we're dead in a week. Maverick leaned in, eyes wild, grinning like the world's collapse was a joke only he understood. Discipline? Framework? You sound like the damn gatekeepers. They love their frameworks. I've got code they've never even dreamed of. We don't need slow. We need bold. Cypher's jaw tightened. Bold doesn't win wars. Bold gets you liquidated. Maverick slapped the table in front of him. And cautious gets you forgotten. I'd rather blow it up than die waiting. Obi leaned back, sipping from a chipped mug, laughter dripping from his mic. Oh, this is good. Grandpa Ray runs a daycare now. Half want nap time, half want to play with matches. Guess which one burns down the house first? Ray stayed quiet. He let the clash rise, let it breathe. Maple's voice cut in soft but steady. Stop, both of you. Ray didn't bring us here to posture. He brought us here because if we don't stand together, none of us make it. Bright eyes erupted before the silence could hold. Yeah! This is fire! Don't you see? Cypher's plans, Maverick's chaos, Maple's heart, Ray's wisdom. We're unstoppable together. This is history in the making. Bundy dropped a meme into the chat. A cartoon gatekeeper trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The caption read, Cypher vs. Maverick 2025. The chat exploded in laughing emojis. Plantain couldn't resist. Streaming live, folks. Episode 1 of Council of Misfits. Who wins? Who breaks? Smash that like button. Monkey typed quietly in the sidebar. Council divided on tactics. Leadership uncertain. Tensions high. Ray finally spoke, his voice low, carrying the weight of silence with it. Enough. The chat stilled. Ray looked straight into the cam. The gatekeepers are betting on this, on us tearing each other apart before we even move. You want chaos? Fine. You want structure? Fine. But you'll have it under one banner. You'll have it under NOPE. Obi raised an eyebrow, smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. Well, look at that. Grandpa found his spine. Ray didn't flinch. No, I found my purpose. And for a moment, the council fell into uneasy silence. Not unity, not yet, but something close enough to begin. Chapter 4. Raising the Banner. The council's chatter hadn't cooled when the first alert hit. A cascade of red banners flooded the feed. Unauthorized LP revoked and blocked. Cell walls put in place. Wallets drained. Pools frozen. Cypher cursed under his breath. They're moving faster than I thought. This isn't surveillance. This is surgical. They're targeting anyone tied to the PulseChain. Maverick leaned forward, eyes gleaming. Good. That means they're scared good? Obi barked a laugh. My bags are evaporating faster than Plantain's subscriber count, and you call it good? Plantain shot back, grinning even as his dashboard lit up with losses. At least people see me vanish in real time. Ratings? Baby Bundy dropped a new meme without comment. A gatekeeper in a surgeon's mask holding a scalpel labeled Exit Liquidity. Behind him, a cartoon rebel screamed wrecked. Bright Eyes didn't hesitate. He lit the feed with fire. This is proof they fear us. We're in their heads already. Nope is too hot to kill. But the tone shifted when Maple spoke, her voice trembling but clear. People are losing everything, Ray. They're watching their wallets bleed out. If we don't stand now, they'll scatter. The feed quieted. Every eye turned toward Elder Ray. He could feel the weight pressing in. Cypher's logic, Maverick's recklessness, Obi's mockery, Bright Eye's hype, Maple's plea. They all looked to him because no one else could bear the silence. Ray inhaled slowly, steadying himself against the storm. Then we give them something stronger than fear. We give them a banner. Obi smirked. What, you want us to start waving flags like Boy Scouts? Ray didn't smile. I want us to plant one so high they can't tear it down. Bundy dropped another meme instantly. A NOPE flag planted on a burning moon, gatekeepers tumbling into the void. The chat exploded with laughter and rockets. Plantain caught the moment, already streaming. History, folks. The first NOPE rally. No permissions. Ever Ray looked into the feed, his voice calm and unyielding. They can freeze our wallets. They can burn our pools, but they'll never cage us. Say it with me. The council, fractured just moments before, roared together in overlapping voices, hype flooding the feed. No permissions, ever. And for the first time, it wasn't just words. It was war. Chapter 5. First Blood. The aftershock hit harder than the strike itself. Wallet balances blinked zero. Pools sat like gutted carcasses on the charts, drained in silence. Bright Eyes tried to spin it, his voice a frantic blaze. They can't kill momentum. This is fuel, fam, pure fuel. But the chats told the truth. Panicked messages from allies, broken graphs, screenshots of losses. No amount of emojis could drown it out. Cypher spoke first, cold and cutting. I warned you. This isn't a playground. Every reckless move paints a target. All eyes slid toward Maverick. He didn't flinch. What? You want to play it safe forever? I tested the lock. Somebody had to. If my pool burned, fine. At least I lit a match. You lit yourself on fire, Cypher snapped, and nearly took us with you. Obi snorted, slouching in his chair. Ah, the sweet smell of victory. Ash, smoke, and everyone pointing fingers. Grandpa Ray, this daycare is going up in flames, Maple cut in, voice steady but pained. Enough. People trusted us. They trusted you, Ray. We can't keep pretending this is just another meme war. They need to know we won't abandon them. We won't abandon PulseChain. Ray hadn't spoken. He stared at his own spreadsheet, numbers bleeding red, holdings gutted. The gatekeepers had carved a piece out of him, too. He exhaled slowly. You're right. The room stilled. Ray pulled up a ledger and without hesitation transferred a massive block of his own reserves into the wrecked pools. His wallet drained, his own safety burned away. The council erupted. Cypher. You can't. This is suicide. Maverick. You mad bastard. You're actually doing it. Obi. Grandpa just bought the house with his pension plan. Bright Eyes. He's all in. This is how legends are made. Ray's voice cut them all down to silence. If I don't bleed first, no one else will believe this fight is worth it. The numbers stabilized. Not victory, not even close, but a lifeline. Monkey typed quietly in the margins of the chat. Elder Ray sacrificed his fortune tonight. The council did not break. The rebellion still stands. For the first time, the council looked at Ray not as an old relic, but as a leader worth following. Chapter 6. Doubts and Daggers. The silence didn't last long. By dawn, a new wave of scam messages hit the chats. Screenshots of official announcements stamped with the NOPE crest. Forgeries, promises of guaranteed returns, exclusive access pools, secret pre-sales. Too clean, too polished. Cypher's tone was ice. Forgeries. Honeypots dressed as invitations. They're baiting our people into traps. Bright Eyes slammed the chat with fury. They're stealing our signal. NOPE doesn't do permissions. NOPE doesn't sell. Obi leaned back, smirking at the chaos. Ah, beautiful. The rebellion's first merchandise. Counterfeit rugs. You've made it. Grandpa Plantain cut in, voice sharp for once. My streams are flooded with it. Half the comments don't know what's real anymore. They think we're scamming them ourselves. Maple's face was pale, eyes tired. People are scared, Ray. They're asking if you're behind this. They're asking if we're just another gatekeeper mask. The chat froze in that moment, suspicion sharp enough to cut. Maverick laughed, but it was bitter this time. Told you, old man. Once you bleed, the sharks circle. They smell it. Ray stared at the forged banners, the fake contracts, the deliberate corruption of their name. He felt the weight of it, the ease with which truth could be twisted, how rebellion could be poisoned from the inside. "Then we cut through it," he said, voice low but steady. Cypher leaned forward. "How?" Ray's eyes hardened. "With transparency. Every wallet we use, every pool we touch, every sacrifice we make, it all goes public. No shadows, no secrets. We fight the lie with light monkey typed furiously in the sidebar. First decree of Elder Ray, radical transparency. No shadows in NOPE." Obi raised his mug in mock salute. "Here's to Grandpa Ray, shining a flashlight on a bonfire." But for the first time, even Obi's sarcasm carried a note of respect. Chapter 7. Ashes and Sparks. The council chats crackled with tension, thicker than static. Cypher's face was stone, his voice sharp enough to cut. "We can't survive another blunder. Every move must be modeled, every trade calculated. Otherwise, the gatekeepers won't have to kill us. We'll kill ourselves." Maverick leaned back, smirking, a cigarette glowing against the dark. "You keep talking about models and calculations like we're accountants." "Newsflash, we're pirates. We're not supposed to survive by their rules. We break them." Cypher's eyes narrowed. "And when your so-called brilliance backfires again? How many wallets do you burn before you admit you're reckless?" Maverick flicked ash into the camera, grinning wider. "Better reckless than neutered. You want to turn NOPE into another committee, another bureaucracy. Might as well hand the keys back to the gatekeepers and call it a day." Bright Eyes tried to break in, voice crackling with fire. "Both of you are right. We need Cypher's brains and Maverick's guts. That's what makes us unstoppable." No one listened. Obi let out a low whistle. "Ah, yes. The sound of two bulls ramming each other while the barn burns. Grandpa Ray, you got popcorn?" Ray said nothing. He watched, waiting. Plantain's voice carried through the static, unusually sober. "If this goes live on my stream, we're finished. People aren't here to watch us eat each other." Maple raised his voice, steady but urgent. "Enough! Both of you!" He looked at Ray, pleading. "Say something!" "They'll listen to you." The silence stretched. Cypher leaned forward, voice taut. "Maverick's chaos will kill us." Maverick's grin slipped, just enough to show the wound beneath. "And Cypher's leash will choke us." Ray finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but it landed like a hammer. "You're both right. And you're both wrong. Cypher, without Maverick, we never strike. Maverick, without Cypher, we never survive." He leaned into the camera, eyes hard. "You don't have to like each other. But you will need each other, because the gatekeepers don't care which one of you is smarter. They'll bury you both the same way." The feed was silent, save for Obi's chuckle. "Well, damn, Grandpa actually sounds like a leader now." Monkey typed quickly in the sidebar. "Ray forces Cypher and Maverick into uneasy truce. First step toward unity." For the first time, Maverick didn't laugh, and Cypher didn't argue. They only sat in the uneasy quiet, the sparks of rivalry cooling into the embers of something else. Chapter 8. The Meme Storm. Bundy rarely spoke, but when he did, it was usually in pixels. Tonight, it was a flood. The first meme hit the feed at midnight. A gatekeeper, drawn as a bloated king on a porcelain throne, the caption screaming, "Exit liquidity royalty." The council laughed, even Cypher smirked. Then another dropped, and another. Bundy's gallery lit up the community like fireworks. A looping gif of Maverick riding a rocket straight into a wall, tagged innovation. Obi photoshopped as a medieval jester juggling flaming bags of tokens. A cartoon Elder Ray with fire in his eyes, planting a flag that read simply, "Nope." Plantain grabbed them instantly, streaming the chaos to anyone willing to watch. Bright Eyes added fuel with lines of fire and rockets. Within hours, Bundy's work wasn't just council chatter, it was everywhere. Cypher's tone cut through the laughter like ice water. "This is dangerous. These memes aren't just jokes, they're markers. Attention we don't want." Maverick grinned, pointing at the rising follower counts. Look at the numbers. You think gatekeepers fear silence? Number. They fear this. They fear momentum. Maple's voice trembled. Momentum cuts both ways. People are rallying, yes, but so are spies. Bundy, do you understand what you've done? Bundy's camera flickered to life for once, his voice low and oddly serene. I lit a fire. Where it spreads isn't mine to say. The council feed exploded with outside messages, recruits, donations, calls to arms. For every ally, there were threats, accounts swearing vengeance, gatekeeper bots seeding lies, whispers of betrayal already curdling at the edges. Obi laughed, loudest of all. Well, Grandpa, looks like your daycare just went viral. Elder Ray said nothing for a long time. He stared at the chat, at the flood of hope and poison tangled together. Finally he spoke. Then the storm has come. And we stand in it, Monkey's log scrolled on the side of the feed. Bundy's meme storm. Catalyst of growth, catalyst of danger. Tonight, Nope became unignorable. Chapter 9. The Propaganda War. It started with a single image attack. The gatekeepers released a slick, polished banner across every channel. Elder Ray's face, darkened and grainy, stamped with the words, Nope, nothing but opportunists, parasites, exploiters. By morning, the flood had begun. Edited clips of Bright Eyes screaming emojis over fabricated rug pulls. Fake streams of plantain shilling honeypots. Bundy's memes retooled to mock the very rebellion they had fueled. Cypher's voice was clipped and furious. They've turned our symbols into weapons. Every time we go viral, they twist it. Half the network thinks we're the scam. Maverick snarled, slamming his desk. Let them. If they're wasting time copying us, they're already behind. Maple's face was pale. Behind? People are losing faith. They don't know who to trust anymore. And if they turn on us... Obi cut her off, smirking though his voice was tight. Then Grandpa Ray becomes the villain of the week. Could be worse. At least you'll look good on the wanted posters. Ray said nothing, scrolling through the messages. His name, his face, his banner, no permissions. Ever. All twisted into something grotesque. Plantain's feed buzzed. My streams are a war zone. Half the chat screaming nope forever, the other half spamming scammer. I can't mod it fast enough. Bright Eyes jumped in, fiery and breathless. Then drown them out. Louder, bigger. They can't own the signal if we never shut up. Cypher shook his head. Volume isn't victory. Strategy is. We need to reclaim narrative control before this spirals. Bundy dropped a new meme in silence. The gatekeepers depicted as puppeteers, strings tied to a screaming crowd. The caption, Who do you believe? The War Council froze. Ray finally looked up, his voice rough but steady. We don't fight lies with silence. We fight with truth, radical transparency. Every wallet, every ledger, every sacrifice. We show them who we are and let them choke on it. Monkey's notes filled the margin. The propaganda war begins. Ray responds with the doctrine of transparency. If it holds, Nope may survive. If not, they will eat each other alive. The council wasn't unified, not yet. But for the first time, even under the flood of lies, they had something the gatekeepers couldn't forge. A truth they were willing to bleed for. Chapter 10, The Freeze Test. The first signs came quiet. Orders stalled mid-execution. Swaps froze in pending limbo. Numbers stuck on screens that had always moved like water. Cypher was the first to see it. His charts bled red across multiple chains. It's begun. They're testing the lock. Maverick grinned like a man staring down a tidal wave. Good! Finally, a fight worth having. This isn't a fight, Cypher snapped. It's suffocation. Wallets across PulseChain began to flicker offline. Pools iced over. Liquidity sealed in invisible cages by cell walls. Allies spammed the council feed with desperate calls. I can't move. I can't breathe. MetaMask won't work. My funds are trapped. Maple's voice wavered. They're freezing people alive, Ray. If they scale this, it won't just be pools. It'll be the whole chain. Obi whistled low, shaking his head. Exit liquidity on ice. Nice trick. Too bad we're the frogs in the freezer. Bright Eyes slammed the feed with flame. We break ice with fire. They can't hold us if we keep pushing. Plantain cut in, his stream a storm of panic and fury. I'm broadcasting live. The world's watching PulseChain wallets lock in real time. They're terrified, Ray. They're begging for answers. Ray sat in silence, eyes narrowed at the frozen charts. He knew this wasn't the full lock yet, just a test, a probing strike. But already the community was gasping. Cypher leaned forward, voice taut. We need a plan. Controlled exits, temporary safe pools. Something to buy us time. Maverick slammed his fist against the desk. No, we don't retreat. We counterattack. Build liquidity webs they can't freeze. Build them thicker and deeper. Make their ice our fire. Their voices clashed again, heat and cold colliding, until Maple shouted them down. Ray, they'll follow you. What do we do? The council went quiet. Ray spoke slowly, steady as a heartbeat. We survive the test. We study the cracks in their ice, and when the real lock comes... He leaned closer to the feed, his face carved from steel. We'll be ready to shatter it. Bundy, silent until now, dropped a meme. A glacier cracking under the weight of a single NOPE banner. The caption, Ice Breaks. Monkey's notes scrolled in the margins. The freeze test, the gatekeepers flex their weapon. Ray steadies the council, promises defiance. The storm is only beginning. Chapter 11, Web of Defiance. The council gathered in tense silence. The feed still showed frozen pools, wallets trapped like flies in amber by V3 cell walls. Allies begged for solutions, but no answer had yet come. Ray's voice broke the quiet. Calm, heavy, certain. The gatekeepers want us to suffocate. We don't let them. We turn their ice into our fire. Cypher leaned forward, wary. How? Ray's eyes moved from face to face. By weaving. One thread breaks. A web holds Maverick tilted his head, curious despite himself. Liquidity webs. Ray nodded once. We scatter pools across layers, mirrors, shadows, decoys. Some sacrificial, some fortified. They can freeze one, but not all. We survive in the gaps. Cypher tapped furiously at his console, already sketching models. A mesh of redundancy, riskier to manage, but harder to kill. Maverick smirked, fire flashing in his eyes. And if we seed bots into the web, we turn their own attacks into triggers. They freeze one pool. We bleed liquidity into another before the ice sets. Their weapon becomes our fuel. Obi chuckled low, raising his mug. Oh, I like this. Spin a web, catch a gatekeeper. Grandpa Ray, you're starting to sound downright devious. Bright Eyes burst into the chat with rockets and flames. This is it! The counterstrike. They tried to freeze us, but we're about to melt the chains. Plantain leaned forward, his background flashing with a live stream already running. The people want hope, Ray. If I broadcast this plan, it'll spread like fire. Ray shook his head. Not yet. Let them see results, not promises. No leaks, no shadows. We act first. Speak after Maple's voice was soft but firm. That's what they need to hear. Someone willing to move, not just talk. Bundy dropped a meme into the feed. A gatekeeper struggling in a spider's web. Nope scrawled across each thread. The caption read, Caught. Monkey typed in the margins. Ray's command takes hold. Cypher and Maverick, once rivals, plot side by side. The council shifts from chaos to cohesion. Tonight, Nope began to weave. For the first time, the rebellion felt less like a spark and more like a storm. Chapter 12, The Liquidity Lock. The warning came at midnight. Pools everywhere went still, not one at a time, but all at once. Charts froze, trades halted, balances dimmed to gray. Every ledger flickered with the same message. Swap failed. Why might you have encountered this error? Too much slippage. Retry. Cypher's voice broke first, strained but controlled. It's here. The full lock. Across the community, allies screamed in panic. Screenshots filled the council's feed. Every wallet, every pool, trapped in ice. This time, there were no cracks, no gaps to slip through. Maverick grinned, though his hands shook. Beautiful. They've overplayed it. If they've locked everything, they've exposed themselves. All we have to do is break the ice. Obi snorted. Oh sure, just break the unbreakable. Anyone got a hairdryer? Plantain's live stream buzzed with chaos. I'm broadcasting now. Half the chain's watching. They want answers, Ray. They're scared. They want to know if NOPE still breathes. Bright Eyes flooded the feed with flame, but even his voice carried an edge of desperation. We don't freeze! We burn hotter than their chains! Maple's tone cut through, calm against the storm. Ray, it's you. They're waiting for you. Ray stared at the frozen charts, at the message pulsing like a heartbeat across the network. He felt the silence of millions, waiting for someone to say the fight wasn't already lost. Slowly, he leaned forward. His voice carried steady, heavier than ice. Listen to me. They can freeze our pools, our wallets, our trades, but they cannot freeze our will. NOPE is not permissions. NOPE is defiance. And we will break this lock cipher, and Maverick exchanged a glance, once rivals, now bound by necessity. Cipher spoke first. We'll build the web. Maverick's grin sharpened. And I'll set the traps. Bundy dropped a new meme into the feed. A glacier shattering, a NOPE banner rising from the cracks. The caption, Lock this. Monkey typed in the margins. The global lock has fallen, not upon the gatekeepers' enemies, but upon themselves. The council does not scatter. Under Ray, they prepare to strike. The rebellion stood at the edge of ruin, but for the first time, every member of the council knew this was not the end. It was the moment NOPE had been born for. Chapter 13. Weaving the Web. The lock seemed everywhere now, an icy silence gripping the chain. But inside the council's channel, the noise had become focus. Cypher's screen lit with cascading graphs and models, his voice clipped and precise. We weave liquidity webs here, here, and here. Every frozen pool triggers an autoflow into hidden reserves. Redundancy on redundancy. They freeze one, we bleed into another before the ice sets. Maverick leaned back, cigarette smoke curling in the dim glow. Good scaffolding. Now we add teeth. Seed bots into the web. When the gatekeepers strike, the bots flip their own force back on them. Every freeze becomes our payday. Ray nodded, steady, guiding. Build it tight. Build it fast. This isn't theory anymore. It's survival. Bright Eyes bounced in, eyes shining. Chat littered with moon rocket and fire emojis. I'm blasting this across every feed. We're not hiding. NOPE is alive, and we're coming for the lock, Cypher snapped back. No hype until we're ready. You'll spook them into adapting. Bright Eyes grinned, unbothered. Trust me, I know timing. When the fire hits, it'll blind them. Plantain worked in the background, setting up livestream overlays, banners, feeds. When this goes live, the world won't just see charts. They'll see faces. They'll see NOPE standing tall. Bundy dropped a barrage of memes. The gatekeepers as polar bears drowning in melted ice. Dash Obi juggling frozen wallets with the caption Clown World Bank. Elder Ray carved from ice, fire roaring from his chest. Obi chuckled, shaking his head. Look at that. Bundy finally made me a saint. Better than the gatekeepers' wanted posters, Maple's voice threaded through the chaos, warm and grounding. People are terrified. When they see this, when they see us fighting instead of folding, it'll give them something real. That matters more than any prophet Ray's voice cut through. Calm, final. Then it's decided. Cypher, Maverick, you build the web. Bright Eyes, Plantain, Bundy, you own the signal. Maple, you hold the line when fear breaks. Obi, you keep them laughing. Monkey, you write it down, so no one forgets. The council froze, every eye on him. We strike together. We win together. No permissions, ever. Monkey's fingers blurred across the keys, preparations complete. The web is woven, the memes sharpened, the streams primed, dry powder loaded. Tomorrow the lock breaks, or NOPE burns with it. For the first time, the council wasn't just noise, it was an army. Chapter 14. Shattering the Lock. The chain was frozen solid, a world locked in ice. Wallets grayed out, trades strangled mid-breath, pools sealed in digital coffins. The gatekeepers' victory seemed certain. Then, in the council's channel, Ray's voice cut through the silence. It's time. Cypher activated the web. Code poured across the feed, a lattice of mirrored pools and shadow channels. Thread 1, active. 2, active. 3, watch it. Redirecting. Flow is live. Maverick grinned like a wolf, flicking switches. Bots seeded. Every time they freeze a thread with a cell wall, we siphon the strike into fuel. Let them swing. Every hit makes us stronger. The gatekeepers moved fast. Pools locked. But this time the ice cracked instead of held. Liquidity bled out of their grip and into NOPE's hidden veins. Plantain streamed the chaos live, his voice electrified. You're watching history! The lock is breaking before your eyes. NOPE stands. Bright Eyes drowned the feed in rockets and fire. To the moon! They can't hold us! We are unstoppable! NOPE forever! Bundy unleashed a storm of memes in real time. Glaciers fracturing, gatekeepers drowning, the NOPE banner rising from the cracks. Each one spread like wildfire, morale climbing higher. Obi laughed louder than anyone, his sarcasm sharp enough to cut steel. Oh, look at that. Grandpa Ray built a flamethrower. I take back half my insults. Maple's voice steadied the council as allies flooded in, desperate, panicked, hopeful. Hold the line. Don't break. Bye. We're almost through. The gatekeepers doubled their assault. The entire network groaned under the weight of the lock. For a moment, even the council felt the ice creeping closer. Ray leaned forward, his voice iron. Push, all of you. Now Cypher's lattice strained. Maverick's bots screamed through the channels. Bright Eyes shouted over the noise. Plantain streamed to millions. Bundy fired memes like artillery. Obi cursed and laughed in equal measure. Maple whispered hope into the cracks. Monkey typed furiously, already chronicling the impossible. And then, the lock shattered. The chain roared back to life, liquidity surging through the web. Wallets blinked open, pools flooded with movement. The gatekeeper's weapon, their ultimate ice, was broken. Bright Eyes screamed into the feed. We did it! The lock is dead! Plantain's stream exploded with cheers, a flood of rockets and fire. Bundy dropped his final meme, a gatekeeper's crown, split in two, beneath a banner that read simply, No permissions, ever. Ray closed his eyes, exhausted but steady. It's done. Monkey's log scrolled in the margin. The lock shattered. The council victorious. Elder Ray led them through ice and fire. Tonight, NOPE became more than rebellion. It became legend. Chapter 15. The Torch. The chain pulsed with life again. Pools flowed, wallets opened, trades screamed across the markets like lightning. The lock was gone. But victory came with scars. Cypher sat hollow-eyed at his terminal, fingers trembling from hours of strain. We held, but the models barely survived. We'll need new frameworks before the next strike. Maverick leaned against the wall, grinning despite the ash on his face. And yet, here we are, bold and breathing. Told you chaos works. Cypher shot him a look. For once, there was no venom behind it. Only tired respect. Bright Eyes still blazed in the chat, throwing rockets and fire like confetti. This is the future! NOPE is unbreakable. Plantain's stream was still live, the numbers spiking into the millions. His voice shook with something between awe and exhaustion. They're calling it the night of ice and fire. Ray, they're calling you the man who broke the lock. Bundy posted one last meme. Elder Ray silhouetted in firelight, the NOPE banner behind him. The caption read, Founder. Obi raised his mug, smirk softer than usual. Well, Grandpa, you didn't just survive, you made history. Cheers to that. Maple's eyes glistened as he spoke. You gave them hope, Ray. Real hope. That matters more than any victory. Ray sat in silence, watching the feeds explode with fire, rockets, memes, chants. He knew what they didn't say. The gatekeepers weren't gone. The war wasn't over. But tonight, the people were free. He leaned forward, his voice steady, etched into the moment. Nope isn't mine. It never was. It's yours now, all of you. Carry it. Keep it alive. No permissions. Ever. Nope. Monkey's chronicle closed with the words that would echo across the chain. On the night of ice and fire, Elder Ray lit the torch. The council carried it. And Nope became more than a token. It became freedom.